I sat on the porch of my old family house, watching the wind twist the leaves in the trees under the heavy cloak of night. The air felt thick like the calm before a storm, though the forecast promised no rain. My name is David, and this house had been passed down through generations. It was a place filled with memories, good and bad. But since my parents died, it had been just me and the silence. That evening, a letter arrived, no return address, nothing but my name in a shaky, almost childlike scrawl. I felt an odd chill as I tore open the envelope, expecting a generic flyer or some forgotten bill. Instead, a single piece of yellowed paper slipped out with one unsettling sentence.
"He's watching you."
I laughed it off at first. It had to be a prank. Kids trying to mess with the recluse in the big old house. But later that night, when I sat alone in my study, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The house, which had always felt so familiar, now felt foreign. The first few days after the letter were uneventful, except for the growing unease. It started small, an open window I swore I had closed, faint creaks in the floorboards at odd hours. I convinced myself it was just the house settling, though I had lived here long enough to know better. Then came the dreams. In each one, I was trapped in a dark room with walls that seemed to close in on me. No matter how loud I screamed, no one ever came. When I woke, I always had the distinct feeling that someone, or something, was standing just beyond the edge of my bed, watching. I never had the courage to look. It was on the fourth night after the letter that I heard the whisper. I was half asleep, drifting between the remnants of another nightmare and the promise of morning, when a voice, low and ragged, said my name.
David.
It was soft, almost caring, like someone trying to wake me. I bolted upright in bed, my heart pounding so hard I thought it might burst. But I was alone. Or at least, I thought I was. That morning I searched the entire house but found nothing. Still, the unease gnawed at me. I couldn't explain it, but I felt like the walls were closing in. The house that had been my sanctuary for years was now suffocating me. Every creak, every gust of wind outside made my skin crawl. I started avoiding the rooms I didn't use, especially the attic. My parents had always said it was off limits, and for some reason I had never questioned that. But now it loomed in my mind like a locked door hiding something dark. By the end of the week, the whispers had become constant. Not just at night, but during the day too, following me from room to room.
"David, why don't you come closer? Don't you want to know the truth?"
I was losing sleep, unable to escape the feeling that I was never truly alone. I kept thinking back to that damned letter. Who was watching me? And why? Finally I broke. I couldn't take it anymore. Armed with nothing but a flashlight and my nerves shot to hell, I decided to confront whatever was haunting me. I went up to the attic. The stairs groaned under my weight, and each step felt like a countdown to something terrible. My hand shook as I reached for the door. It was locked, but the key had always been hidden in the hallway cabinet. I found it easily. Almost too easily, as if someone had placed it there for me. The attic door creaked open and the smell hit me first. Damp, old wood, and something else, something rotten. My flashlight flickered as I swept it across the room. It was empty except for a small wooden chest in the corner. As I moved closer, the whispers grew louder. They seemed to be coming from the chest itself. My hand trembled as I reached for the latch. Inside, I found a bundle of old letters. They were addressed to my father, but none of them were from anyone I recognized. The dates spanned years, even decades, each letter more frantic than the last. They spoke of a curse, of something tied to this house, something ancient and malevolent. The last letter was the worst. It wasn't addressed to my father, it was addressed to me. The words were scribbled in a frenzy.
It's too late. He's already inside. Run before he takes you too.
I stumbled back, dropping the letter. My heart raced as the whispers swelled, becoming deafening. And then I saw it, a figure standing in the shadows at the far end of the attic. Tall, impossibly tall, with glowing eyes watching me from the darkness. I ran. I didn't look back, didn't want to see if it was following. I slammed the attic door shut and fled downstairs. My breath came in ragged gasps, and the walls seemed to pulsate around me as though the house itself was alive. Every shadow in every corner seemed to move, stretching toward me. I locked myself in the study, trying to calm my racing thoughts. But the whispers wouldn't stop. The lights flickered, and my vision swam as the walls seemed to close in again, just like in my dreams. I gripped the edge of the desk, trying to steady myself, when I noticed something on the wall. A portrait I hadn't seen before. It was of my father, but younger, and beside him was the figure from the attic. Tall, shadowed, with those same glowing eyes. My blood turned to ice as I realized the truth. This wasn't just about the house. This was about my family. We had been marked, cursed for generations. And now it was my turn. But the worst part? As I stared at the painting, I saw my own reflection, and behind me, in the dim light of the study, there he was. Closer now, smiling. I never left the house. I couldn't. And now, as I write this, I can feel him. He's here, watching, waiting, getting closer with each passing moment. But it's different now. It's not a distant or vague sensation. He's no longer just a shadow lurking in the corner of the room. I didn't realize it at first, but now, it's all starting to come together. The truth, horrifying and undeniable, is sinking in. Over the weeks, my mind has unraveled. I've been trying to cling to something, anything, that could convince me I'm still alive. But the mirrors, they don't lie. At first, I noticed my reflection was strange, distorted. Now I understand. It wasn't my reflection at all. My eyes, they're not mine. They never were. The glow I saw in the attic, it's been in my own eyes this whole time. My skin is gray and drawn, as if life has already left it behind. And why wouldn't it have? I've been dead for far longer than I realized. The voices, those damned voices I thought were haunting me, they were never coming from outside. They were me. I tried to scream, to cry out for help, but what escaped my mouth were his words. My words. I've been speaking for him, becoming him, this whole time. And now, I understand the most terrifying truth. I was never the victim of some external haunting. I am the haunting. The figure in the attic, the presence that watched from the shadows. That was me. The others before me, the ones trapped here, they all became part of this endless cycle. And I've been trapped in it far longer than I realized. My father? He was gone long before I ever thought to search for answers. And now I've taken his place. The rooms I avoided, the places I thought were haunted by something else. They weren't. They were haunted by me. I was trying to escape myself, but there's no escape from what I've become. Every figure I saw, every shadow moving in the corners, it was my own reflection, chasing me, trapped in this eternal loop. I feel cold now, colder than I've ever felt. I can see my breath fogging the air, but no, there is no breath. There never was. I don't breathe. I haven't for I don't know how long. The truth hits me like a tidal wave. I'm dead. I've been dead all along. As I write this, it's no longer a warning to you, it's a confession. I was dead the moment I found that letter, the moment I set foot in this cursed house. Every whisper, every shadow, every flicker of fear, it was me trying to reach myself, trying to understand. And now I do. I stumble to the mirror one last time, and now I see the truth. There's no reflection. There's just darkness, a void where I used to be. I'm nothing. Just a hollow shell trapped here in this cursed house. The house that binds all of us to this endless, repeating cycle. But I have one last thing to tell you. I can feel the last shred of my consciousness fading. Soon, I'll be nothing but another voice in the house, another shadow lurking in the corners. I can feel him, feel me, slipping away. So, before it all ends, hear my final warning. Don't look behind you.